everyone, Sarah Wyles here today, and I am making a card for Brass and Bliss. And right here, I am using two older sets that the company has, and one is called the Nested Rectangle Stitch Dies, and then the other one is the Nested Inside Scallop Die, and I'm doing this to make a frame for my card. So I'm going to cut out multiple, and as you see, I used my mint tape there to keep the dies where I wanted them so that I could keep pulling them off and keep cutting them out, because I want to use the gold for the top, that gold glitter paper for the top, but I want to have the thickness, just a little dimension there. So I'm cutting out some white cardstock as well that I can layer right up underneath it, and that it'll add that little bit of dimension that I want to the card. I cut out, there's actually 4 of the white ones. You'll see me here pulling them apart to make sure I can add glue in between them. So I am going to glue the 4 white ones together, and then I'll glue the gold one to the top. This way there's that dimension and everything, but it's all the exact same size. I don't have to worry about the scallops being pushed down in or anything if something gets set on top of it, because it's all right there on top of each other. So I went ahead and added those. Now here next, I am going to pull out the Always Peony stamp set. There's also a die set and a stencil set, which I will be using all of them. You can see them right there to the right side. And I'm right here, I'm pulling out all of the peonies, and then I'm pulling out the leaves as well. And I want to make sure to stamp all of those. I love these, they're gorgeous. Here, you're also going to see me rub across those, because during the manufacturing process, there is a film kind of left over them, and I rub it off so that the ink sticks really well to it. And as you see, I only had to do it once. I did not cut that out. Here I went ahead and did another set, because I always like to have extra ones. And so I went ahead and did that. Here I'm pulling out the larger branch, and then I'm going to pull out my saying, which is just a note to say hello. That'll be my saying, and I'm going to stamp this twice. So I'll stamp it, rub my hand across it to remove that little film, and stamp it here, and then I will rotate it and stamp it on the other end as well. It's always nice to have extra ones, if you decide, you want to make another card later, and it's just easy and already done, or if you mess up in your process, then you have another set that's ready too. Here, I went ahead and grabbed the stencils, and I am doing the base right now. This is the larger open area of the stencil. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with one of my lighter color of Distress Oxide. And then here for some reason, I go over it with the same one and remember, I have a darker one. And I grab that out and I start adding some more dimension to this with using the stencil. So it adds the shading and everything. And I love that. And that is what I'm doing here. And then I will rotate and I will go to put these up and then grab my other dabbers and my other colors. Right here, I actually forgot to grab my lighter color, so I will here in 1 second grab that. There it is, that lighter color. And I'll go over this with the lighter color, and I'll do the same thing as I did with the other one, and I'll continue doing that with the rest of the flowers that you see. I won't go through all of these. I'll only do this set on camera and then the one set with the branch. I won't do the other flowers. I don't even use all of them, but I do make extras almost every time I make a card. And then this will be the last one. And so I chose kind of springy colors, pretty colors, bright, happy colors. That's kind of where I was going with it, because it's spring. So I did purples and pinks and blues. I thought they were gorgeous. I love the color combination. Apparently words are hard for me today. I'm sorry. I'm going to add some more shading here. And then I'll take the bigger brush and kind of blend over it to make sure that it's all blended well. And here I'm going to start with my 2 greens for my leaves. So I've got 2 different dabbers on my fingers so that I don't have to keep picking things up and putting them down. And I'm just going ahead and going in with the lighter color and then dabbing off to the right-hand side of the darker color so I don't get it too dark. And you'll see me just reach over into that little stuff that I had already dabbed off onto the glass mat and using it as well. So I went ahead and got those ones done. Here is the actual branch. And now instead of using brown, what I did is I went ahead and just used the dark green for the stem. And then I used the light green and then back with the dark green at the bases of those to add some shadowing. And I went ahead and cleaned my mat up, didn't make you watch all that. And now I'm also grabbing out this new stencil. It's called Tattered Lines. I'm going to go ahead and use that for my background that's going to go behind my frame. I also pulled out this tumbled glass is what this one is called, and I am using it on my background even though I used it on some of my flowers because of the fact that I used a different color with my flower as well and combine them together. It works out for it to be on my background. I'm also not pressing really hard. I'm doing different variations of I don't know how else to say it, hardness of the pressure that I'm adding to the stencil and the dauber as I'm doing it because it's not even throughout and I didn't want it to be. So I'll go ahead and pull this off and I'm going to grab out the pad there and I'm going to splatter it. And then I'm also going to grab some gold aqua pigment from my stash. I'm going to do that right after I clean up this mess. I'm going to grab some gold aqua pigment and I'm going to splatter some gold on there as well. And then I'm going to sit this off to the side to dry as I cut out all of those pretty flowers. So clear up that mess and I will bring my Sizzix out here. And see, you can see all the extra flowers I made. I mean, it never hurts to have any extra flowers. You know, you never know. And I'm glad I did more than 3 because I do end up using more than 3. I just don't use everything on this card. But it leaves it open for me to do a completely different card. So here I'm going to go ahead and add all the dies. They're easy to work with. They go right where they need to. And I'm going to add these down and I'll run them through my machine. I didn't make you watch me do all that. And here I went ahead and pulled out my frame and the base of that card, the base that I did there with the stencil on it is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I knew that I needed it to be smaller, but I didn't want to cut it too small. And so I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive to the back of my frame, and then I'm going to place it down on that piece and I'll just trim the edges off of it. That way I know it's going to fit perfectly. I don't have to worry about funny little lines on the side or anything like that. And yes, I start doing this with my smaller scissors. These are my fussy cutting scissors, and then I realize I have larger scissors and that works so much faster. But this way I didn't have to worry about funny little lines or anything, any of the paper sticking out on the side or anything like that. And here I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive to the back of this and remove all of that and place it on the actual card base itself. And then once I get to this point, I can actually start playing with those beautiful flowers. I know I want some of them to come up over the edge and then I want some of them to sit down inside of it. And I thought that I was just going to use 3 because I drew out my own card sketches. I do this like every time I get new stamps or anything like that. But I decide I wanted to add a 4th one. And I trimmed these edges off of this flower to make them flat so that they would sit better on the card. And then I moved things. And if you've watched videos that I've done before, I do that a lot, and then I realize I can't get them back where I wanted them. So I just go with it, and I find a way to make it work the way I want it and how it still looks pretty. So, I mean, that's just kind of how it works sometimes. Sometimes you got to make it work for what you're doing. So here I'm going to double up my adhesive to pop it up because I am using quite thin foam adhesive right there. And I'm going to add some to my purple flower as well so that they are both popped up because I have them coming over the edge of the frame. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere those down. Add some glue because this one is really on top of that gold glitter frame. Add a little bit of adhesive behind the blue flower and the leaves. I'm going to add some leaves down here to the bottom as well. In between the pink and the purple flower, and then also off to the side of the purple flower. After that, I'm just going to go ahead and clean up my mess a little bit. I'm going to grab my sentiment and cut it out because I still have it on the same sheet of paper. But I cut it pretty thin. I didn't want it to be anything real big. And now I'm going to cut some of that adhesive down so that it'll fit on the back of that. And I'm going to double it up just like I did the back on the back of the flowers. And I will go ahead and add that to the back of this. I had to fix a little in there because I didn't do quite enough. And that'll finish this card for me. It was pretty quick and simple. It turned out beautiful. These flowers are gorgeous and the stencils make it so easy to add color to them. And of course, the dies are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.